This week we're pushing ourselves and our biking limits.
Here we go.
And headed to one of the so-called hardest mountain biking destinations in the world, Molini, Italy.
Yeah, this is awesome.
Molini is a very small town nestled in the Ligurian Alps, and very few people know this, but it's considered to be one of the best places on planet Earth to ride your bike.
Yeah.
In this video, you're going to see our struggles getting our bikes to Molini, our pursuit to eat some of Europe's best food,
I'm so happy.
incredible views, some of the gnarliest trails we've ever ridden, and even a few hard crashes.
Oh, man.
On this trip, we share the inside scoop as we explore Molini, as well as rate the trails and overall experience of the trip.
Ooh, getting into some gnarly stuff.
You'll know exactly what it's like to be in Molini. Join us on this adventure to see if Molini really is Europe's hardest mountain bike destination.
I couldn't brake, it was terrifying.
After an amazing week of biking in Madeira, we washed our bikes and packed them up and we're off to Nice. But it was not without complications.
All right, we made it to Nice, the next stop on our European adventure. We got to the airport nice and early this morning. We got to the TAP Portugal Airlines desk, and the lady checking us in was like, "Do you have a reservation for your bicycles to fly?" And we were like, No, we do not have a reservation for our bicycles to fly. What's it gonna be? Is it gonna be our bikes? So apparently they wanted us to call and tell them that we were bringing bicycles with us. Maybe. So we had to go over to a different ticketing counter and they were so helpful. Here it comes. Bum, bum, bum. And then we got checked back in. Always the best feeling when the bicycles make it. Could have been a bad situation. Cool little Airbnb, so we'll do a little mini walkthrough. It's super cute, it has everything we need, and we're gonna hang out here for a week so I can lay by the pool, and that's all I want to do this week. And then we have more biking adventures to come, which is Molini.
This is rad. That's so good. Holy crap.
Stay tuned and see what we're up to, and all the pastries that I eat. It's so good. I'm so happy.
Our time in Nice consisted of walking around town, visiting castles, parks, working out, and eating as much as we possibly could.
It's a quiche.
Almond croissant, chocolate eclair,
A baguette.
pain au chocolat.
Our very French dinner.
Lemon dessert crepe that even I approved of.
Finally found Joe some pizza after getting me all the pastries.
After stuffing ourselves with all the food we could possibly eat in Nice, we hired Molini MTB to drive us and our bikes an hour and a half to our hotel in downtown Molini. The drive was spectacular, to say the least, and we were ready to get back on our bikes.
All right, we have arrived at the next location. It is time to build some bikes. We are in Molini. Just got to the bike garage. Gonna build up the bikes real fast. Woo! All right, we got settled into our hotel room here in Molini, and we are just out for a little adventure, trying to walk and film as we go up this little cobblestone-y street. Super cool. And we're just gonna go explore, kind of see what the little town is like.
This just had like 10 mountain bikers just ripping down and jumping the stairs. So
It looks like we're gonna have a super awesome, really fun couple of days in store.
yeah, this is awesome. So good.
This town is super small, very, very small, but it has that like really old European feel. I think it's gonna be a really interesting, fun experience. Also, the hills around here are very steep, so I feel like, stay tuned, here we go.
First day of riding here in Molini. Walking down to the shop, we had a nice little Italian breakfast.
Good coffee.
Yeah, the coffee was the highlight.
Winter, winter. It's kind of cold this morning though. It's a little chillier than we've been used to.
Bikes are getting loaded up. They seem to have a very good attention to detail on the bike spacing, so I love that.
A little about me. I'm completely anal about bashing my bike up on the shuttle. I'll bash it up on the trail and that's fine, but not on the shuttle.
We've got a huge group today because apparently there's a guide out, so we're tagging together or staying together with an extra group.
For our guiding and shuttling, we hired the same company that brought us to Molini MTB. On day 1 in Molini, we were riding 5 of the hardest trails we've ever ridden.
Whoa! Yep, that's a really tricky part.
I couldn't brake, it was terrifying.
Getting into some gnarly stuff here. Whew! Oh, man.
Ride 1 is a blue trail called Fantasy, which we've learned is one of the more flowy trails in Molini.
Got lots of riders, feels like chaos. Here we go.
Flow in Molini is really determined by how good you are at moving over rocks and roots.
All right, and we're off. A little bit of chaos. The rating is, just met some guys from the south of France. Looks like we got some roots, maybe a little bit slippery. Well, the nice thing is the bike feels pretty good right off the bat. Oh!
For this trip, I brought my Rebel Rail 29, which is 170 millimeters up front and 155 out the back.
Slippery roots.
Seems like the roots are a little bit more slippery here than what we're used to, and the rocks, those are for sure.
Woo!
Riding over a trail like this is literally like dancing on your bike, and the better you dance, the more flow you have.
That's the roots. Fun, fun, fun though. I love the fast starts. Everybody feels like they get excited and want to go fast. I love it. Oh, so good to be back on the bike though. We took a whole week off. We did a pretty good job of keeping up with our workouts, so hopefully the grip doesn't feel too bad in this first couple days.
That's wishful thinking. Our hands and forearms are about to be toast.
Seems like almost everyone around here wears body armor, which in the US, I feel like you don't see that unless you're at a bike park. And I think it's cool.
As I mentioned in the last video series, we went out and bought body armor right after we got done with this trip. I mean, look how gnarly this stuff is.
I love just having the bike running quiet like this. Put a dab of grease on my seat post dropper so that it would stop knocking around. It seems to be working pretty good.
I am a stickler for a quiet bike. All I want to hear is the tires rolling on the ground, and if anything is rattling or clattering, I need to figure out what it is and or get rid of the bike.
I do get the feeling that these rocks, which are awesome looking, could be a little damp or slippery in the wet.
Hang around till the end to see just how right I was.
Oh, man. Yeah, check this out. This is so cool. The reason that we're here in Molini is because Kevin, the CEO of Evil, told us that this was his all-time favorite ride. Whew! Yeah.
In case you can't tell, I am slipping and sliding all over the place right here. Just barely made it out.
Phew! Yeah, that was great.
We thought we were done, but it turns out we'd only finished the first section of Fantasy Trail. Compared to most shuttle rides that we're used to, these trails are massive and take a toll.
Whoa! Roots, man, roots. Trying to have confidence in what I'm hitting, but tried to push through that corner and the root that I didn't see got me.
The difficulty of these trails, along with the shadows, is just something else.
Gotta remember, it's okay not be the fastest. Just let your body warm up.
This is a lesson that we learned over and over again on this trip. The European riders are just fast, faster than what we're used to.
Gotta look ahead, Joe, come on.
We also learned very quickly that the European riders come to Molini to train and get better at riding really, really hard stuff. And the trail's not over, just a quick break at the road crossing. These trails are so physical that the guides do a great job of giving us lots of little breaks to make sure that we have enough energy to keep going.
Took a little break there, and then we're back at it. Apparently there's a jump or a big jump or some feature up here. Let's see what it looks like. There she is. Not too bad.
There's a jump that I'll hit in a future video, and there's Albie, owner of Molini MTB.
Probably could hit that one next time. Quite a bit of exposure there on the right. And on the right again. Whew, it's just a drop off.
This area is very wooded, but if you take a look off the side, there are some huge drop-offs, major exposure in here.
Gnarly kind of steep stuff here. If you guys can't tell, it is decently steep and some nice switchbacks.
At least that's what I thought. Wait till you see the next trail. I didn't know it at this point, but it turns out that this trail was a great warm-up for what we have coming up. And I've got to mention, these stairs are super tricky. Whew. Just another quick false bottom, and we're off to the last part of the fantasy trail. For anyone that doesn't think that downhill riding is hard, listen to my breathing right now.
Oh yeah.
Most times our heart rates are higher on the downhill than the uphill.
Guy up ahead of me seems to like that tech. He gets faster when he hits the techie stuff. Good rider. A lot of fast riders are what we found in Europe so far.
Being around really fast riders is great to a point. That point is when you run out of energy and you make mistakes because you're trying so hard and working so hard to keep up with the fast riders. Ride 1 on the fantasy trail today was 2.8 miles, descent of 1,900 feet, difficulty of only a 6 out of 10, and a fun of 7 out of 10.
Yeah.
Next up, lap 2. We're riding Terra Rosse, which is a double black trail and is one of the hardest and most fun trails we've ever ridden.
Here we go.
You probably can't tell, but this entrance right here is actually steeper than anything we rode on the last trail.
Apparently this one is a little harder than the last one. Have to see how she goes.
Knowing what I know now, that statement is hilarious. It's so much harder.
Riding conditions are very nice, I would say.
Another crazy steep section.
Keep breathing.
I have to remind myself to breathe because I sure do want to just hold my breath right here.
Picking good lines is going to be important, as always, but maybe not the same line as the person in front.
Sometimes following a person's line is a great idea, and other times it gets you into a lot of trouble.
Yeah, these rocks are awesome.
This trail is just relentless. Turns, steeps, and the turns are about to even get more sharp and more steep up ahead. Whew. It's times like these that I'm so thankful to be running TRP brakes. They are phenomenal.
Whew. Oh, nice. Yeah.
By nice, I think I mean crazy steep. That was crazy steep.
Hope Emily is having fun. Yeah, babe. Sure she can handle any of that, no problem. Just kind of getting warmed up to this style of riding, I think. Trying not to go harder than you think you should. Oh. And almost got thrown forward on the bars right there.
What I mean is I almost shot my hand forward off of the bars completely.
Yeah, this is awesome. So good.
Turns out we let Emily's brake rotors wear out. Not good for a trail like this. More about that later.
Just gotta keep looking ahead. Finding good lines. This is rad. So good. Holy crap.
It's hard to tell, but this is very, very steep. And you're having to control your body while going down these turns.
I think I can smell some burning brakes up here. Up in here.
Those are absolutely burning brakes. If you haven't heard me mention it before, we go through a set of front and rear brake pads on most of these week-long trips.
Some hard downhill riding for sure.
This riding is physical.
Whew, back legs getting a little tired. Oh, space. Really fast riders here.
A lot of times we can leverage our high fitness level to work really hard and keep up with faster riders, but in a case like this, you just have to be so good on your bike, and it's gonna beat you up if your technique isn't spot on.
One of those times where you hope that your advanced fitness level will keep you going.
This is so incredibly technical through here. It absolutely does not come through on the camera.
I think we brought lots of brake pads. Oh yeah, this is so good. You didn't hear me saying that a lot, I think.
I know I keep mentioning how hard this is, but it's actually my favorite type of riding. Well, with the exception of hitting jumps. But this is just fantastic. You're just never off. You're constantly having to move around and stay on your toes so that you can stay on the bike.
Whew! Very good, very good. So fun.
As we get lower, the tech just gets gnarlier, tighter, and steeper.
Yep, that's a really tricky part.
I really wish there was like a grade meter or something so I could show you how steep this actually is.
I take the turn, we can just go straight, I guess.
Now I'm starting to get tired. You can see it in the wobbliness of my tires. And it doesn't help that the rocks are also bouncing my tires all over the place and forcing me to work even harder.
Oh yeah.
Through this section, it's just full on. There's so many obstacles, tight turns, steep stuff, loose stuff. You have to have so much brake control and awareness of where the trail is going just so that you can stay on the bike and keep moving forward. I would 100% be talking you through this section, but I am full on at my limit, pinned right here. This is super steep. The rocks are gnarly.
Whew!
And it's a little bit looser than you would think as well.
Almost made it. I had to put a foot down. Tight one. This is a freaking long ass downhill.
Terra Rosse is actually only 2 miles long, but it's 2,500 feet of descending, so that is steep.
Very technical.
Just when I thought it couldn't get even more hard, these turns got even more abrupt, even more steep, and the rocks and roots just haven't let up. So I'm having to work exceptionally hard through here after already being tired. This trail, man, it just keeps beating you up over and over again. But I gotta say, it's so much fun.
Yeah, boy! Yeah. Yoo-hoo!
That's just Albie the guide, making sure we're still alive.
Whew, gonna need some more GoPro batteries if we keep having rides that are this long. Yeah. Flattest part of this whole time.
But the flat part was only a short reprieve. Now we're getting right back into a little bit drier and still super duper steep stuff right through here. My brakes are hating me right now. So hot.
Whew!
Hey look, there's a few riders ahead of me. That's not good. Now I'm going to try and catch them. So, here we go. Trying to work even harder. Trail is not easy, and I'm trying to catch some super fast riders. This could end badly.
Really interesting to see my whoop data today. I like my heart rate. Must be just pinned.
C'est physique sa mère.
Whew!
We ride our bikes a lot and we work out with weights a lot, but we were not prepared for the grip, hand, and forearm fatigue that these trails brought down upon us. It is quite impressive.
Well, turns out Emily's just getting some arm pump. It's causing her to have trouble using her front brake. And this is not a place where you don't have trouble using your front brake, let me tell you.
And we found out later on that it wasn't only just her arm pump, but also that her rotor was well past needing to be replaced. Now we are very clear that once that little dot on the rotor wears out, you need to replace the rotor immediately. This actually seems like a cool down section on the Terra Rosse trail, and I usually wouldn't like this, but for this trail, I think it's actually pretty essential. I needed it. That'll do it for the Terra Rosse trail. 2 miles, 2,500 feet of descending, a difficulty of 9 out of 10. It was gnarly and a fun of 10 out of 10. This is one of the coolest, most fun trails I've ever ridden.
I couldn't brake, it was terrifying. My poor little finger couldn't pull my front brake because I was just braking with my back brake and I couldn't stop. I just like ran myself off the trail to stop like 5 times. It got in my head a little bit, but we're gonna go eat lunch, rest my forearms. Hopefully they'll feel better after lunch and I can have a little redemption. Super fun track though. I just wish I could have ridden it better.
Drove way up the mountain. Now we're at the top for the restaurant bar.
Only in Europe can you drive to the top of a mountain where it feels like you're in the middle of nowhere and get an amazing meal that's better than anything you can find in the US. After a delicious but very cheesy lunch, we are off to ride a gnarly blue trail followed by a black with our stomachs full of pasta.
All right, Joe back on the mic here. I'm guessing this is our final trail of the day. As you've seen, there's been a lot of fun riding. A lot of hard stuff on that last one. That was pretty gnarly. I feel like I need a brake bleed.
A very cool feature of TRP brakes is we can bring a lever bleed kit with us and do it in about 5 minutes.
I also had a little bit of an issue with too much cheese. Oh no! It's probably too much information for you, but that's what happened.
Something that I've grown to love about European trails is the turns. Most of these trails used to be hiking trails or still are hiking trails, and the turns are not set up for mountain bikes. So you have to be much more precise and able to even do some front wheel pivots in order to get around them effectively.
This is outstanding riding. Unbelievable. So good. Lots of great dirt, rocks. They're just super fun. Not too slippery. Also, I feel like my bike's riding better than it's been riding, quite a while. I sure like this style riding. This is probably some of my favorite. Throwing a few good jumps and yeah.
Just to clarify, what I was saying is that I love this style of riding, and if you just could throw in a few big jumps, then it would be about the perfect riding that I could even imagine. But there's not many jumps around here.
Nice steep chunk here. Yep, this is steep. Another GoPro won't show it, so gotta let you know. These French riders, they're good. Very good. They're part of a trail building and riding club, and we don't really have that too much in the United States, and I know of at least. Maybe we just travel too much to realize that's what's going on.
Time to shake it out before tackling the second half of this blue. Like I've been saying all day, this is very steep riding here, and I know the GoPro does not pick it up, but it's steep, and these corners, wow.
That was sketchy, guys. Took a foot off, tire hit my butt.
Every once in a while in Molini we'll find these little creek crossings with a hike-a-bike or a punchy climb.
Ooh, the rocks are slippery, and the roots.
Side hilling with a drop on the side and slippery rocks is actually the scariest part of this whole ride for me.
Whew. Oh, kicked a rock. Oh, I felt like that last section was super flowy and great dirt. And this is slippery. Oh, whoo, hoo, hoo. That root just took my tire.
Trail conditions change and I'm having trouble, but these French riders don't seem phased at all.
Kind of sliding around these guys. Thanks to all the Colombia and Ecuador riding. Sliding is riding. Whew.
I am out of control and just dancing around, sliding right here.
Whew. Fun enough. Bit slippery.
This is one of those crazy corners that we're definitely going to get used to riding in Molini. They're all over the place and you are just forced to get through them.
Take the outside line, yes. And then I'll take the rocky line. try and run myself off the trail. Looks like we might have fun rocky descent here into a turn. So cool. Look at this.
That'll do it for ride 3. 7.2 miles, 3,600 feet of descent. We had a bit of a road ride at the end. Difficulty of 6 out of 10 and fun of 7 out of 10. For ride 4, we have a bit of a flowier blue trail, but it will be the start of me making my mistakes.
Riding some punchy ups and kind of this low grade downs right now.
I think this lack of steepness is actually lulling my brain into not riding very good. It's trying to relax, but it's going to cause me to make some mistakes if I don't get it together.
Whew! Got lucky there. Wasn't looking ahead. Man, when you see those root bundles like that are up kind of like on the side hill, it's sketchy. And my eyes tend to go right towards them, and then my tire goes towards them, so you need to look where you want to go, and not at the roots. Don't look at the roots and then you look at the roots. Oh yeah, it's just what you want at the end of the day. Nice and muddy, stayed relatively clean the whole day, and then you get the mud at the end. On a high note, my drivetrain seems to be running really well right now. Got a new chain on there. You missed the last video in Madeira. I got to experience riding some of the trail chainless because my chain broke for the first time.
Break your chain, Joe. Oh. It didn't last very long.
Ride 4 was a little bit mellower with 3.5 miles, 1,800 feet of descending, 5 out of 10 for difficulty, 6 out of 10 for fun, but we are going to amp it up right now. For ride 5, we have a black trail, which is one of the gnarlier trails of the day, which when we're feeling this tired, could end up in disaster.
Cool. So I was wrong. This is now what I perceive as the last trail of the day. It's about 4:30 p.m. here. A lot of riding if you come ride these guys. Get your riding's worth. And if you get to ride with some of these French riders, then you get to ride fast. Bunch of good riders.
This part of the trail isn't easy, but it turns out that it is by far the easiest part of the whole trail. Now we just dropped into a section that looks a little bit loamier, but there's a lot of sniper roots inside of this very nice looking dirt. And these roots will have you slipping and sliding when you didn't even expect them to be there. And mix that up with some steeps like we have now, and you gotta really be careful.
Whew, lots of roots. Getting steep, and you got a lot of roots to deal with. Find your traction, use it. Yeah, it's fun. Great trail. I can feel the mud flying up, hitting me in the back. Oops.
Right here we're mixing slipperiness with tiredness, with wet rootiness, with slippery muddiness.
Whew. Slippery rocks, yep. I love them. Oh, jeez. So the guy ahead of me who just crashed, when he looked down at his bike, his axle, rear axle, was completely dislodged above the cassette. Never seen that happen before. And the bike seems to be working now because he's took off. He's out of here.
And we haven't even gotten to the hardest and gnarliest stuff yet. But here we go.
Ooh, getting into some gnarly stuff here. Good thing I got that GoPro turned on. I almost didn't get it turned on. Ooh. Oh yeah. Jeez. Whew. Oh, man. Yeah.
You lose the front?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man. That was bummer sauce. Definitely whacked my shin on something. Gonna have a nice mark that maybe I'll be able to edit into this video as I'm talking right now. Whew. Everything else feels fine though. I didn't even twist the bars.
You know, I really think it's that flatter terrain that kind of lulls you into a non-attack mode. You let your guard down, and before you know it, you're on the ground.
Just prefer to get through these rides without crashes. That would be the best. This is fun though. Just doing some romping. Yeah.
We're getting a little steeper, kind of a warm-up for what's to come.
That would have been fun to launch off if you knew what you're getting yourself into.
And now we're rolling into the last super gnarly part of the ride.
Nothing like some rocks in the roots. Yeah.
These corners would be hard to walk around, let alone trying to ride your bike. You really got to get familiar with those nose pivots. Entering one of the gnarliest sections of the whole time here, actually. Super steep, super hard switchbacks to make. Fortunately, it's not too slippery through here. You have some grip on the rocks, but the angles that you have to get your bike into are just crazy. And then you're dropping in these little chutes. Wild stuff here.
Yeah, that was some gnarly stuff right there. Oh, mullet. Not sure if it will come up gnarly on the camera or not, but it was some technical gnarliness for sure. These guys are some good riders. That is absolutely for sure. Oh yeah.
And now we'd be romping.
You.
Nice job.
Thank you. You too. Said that we're starting to flow, but that did not look like a flow that I know of. Flow down the rocks. I know. Where's the flow? Some people have a weird definition of the flow.
I mean, the truth is, if you're a good enough rider, you can find flow in any condition. And this is getting way more flowy than it was at those rock sections just a little bit higher up. I feel like this section is a reprieve for my brain from the super scary rock tech stuff that we've been riding all day. But it's not so easy that my brain is lulling into that I'm gonna crash mode, I don't think.
Phew! That was kind of cool. Hop over onto the rocks.
Something that we've had to learn quickly on this trip is that Molini trails never let up. So if you find yourself getting to relax, getting to enjoy some of the flow, you need to really be careful because it's not going to last very long.
Ooh, needed more speed for that.
Wrapping up Ride 5, the last ride of the day, 4.1 miles, 2,800 feet of descending, a difficulty of 9 out of 10. Those rock turns were terribly hard and a fun of 8 out of 10.
Whew. Magnifique. Yes, yes. Good day.
Thank you for the show.
That was fun. That was real. That might have been my favorite one of the day.
None of these rides would be complete without a little cruise through town. After the ride, we showered up and headed downstairs to eat some dinner at the amazing hotel restaurant.
Tableside Partigiani happening.
The meals here were absolutely outstanding.
Post-ride meal.
We're eating beef cheeks tonight.
Recovery beef cheeks. Anyone?
It's a thing.
We'll see you in our next video when we ride our biggest downhill day ever.
Oh,
Get to ride through a 14th century village
this is cool.
and even try and break my bike.
Ooh.
Have a fantastic rest of your day, and we'll see you on the next video.